Hey y'all, this is Cowboy Greg from Single Oak Farm in Trinity, North Carolina, and this weekend Jackie and I are heading on a trail ride going up to Fort Valley Ranch in Virginia. It's located in Fort Valley Ranch or just outside of Luray, and we will be riding the George Washington National Forest up there. And so, you know, y'all just hang on there, and after this video, I'll let y'all know what we thought of it and that sort of thing. So remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and y'all just hang on. It's a little bit tight coming up this way. Big rigs are going to fit probably, but it's going to be a tight fit. This is coming off of 81. I think this is Route 676.
675.
675, Route 675. We got to cross over. I guess these are the Maddox Mountains. But anyway, it's a tight one.
You fill up my senses like a night in a forest, like a mountain in springtime, like a walk in the rain, like a storm in the desert, like a sleepy blue ocean.
Doesn't have 9 boards or a 25
Fill up
boards.
my senses, come to me again. Let me love you. Let me give my life to you. Let me drown in your laughter. Let me die in your arms. Let me lay down beside you. Let me always be with you.
All right, so this is the Stevens Trail after you leave the parking lot. Really nice wide trail. Not near as rocky as some of the stuff we've been on. Now, we talked to a few guys at the parking lot. They said like the last little bit getting up to Kennedy Peak is pretty rocky, so we'll find out. Now this trail is blazed with yellow, I guess you would call it. And this is the Stevens Trail. A little bit rocky through this section. Most of it's been pushed out road bed until we get up in here. We're kind of up on the, I guess, going across the saddle of the mountain. Willow's a little bit scared.
No. No.
Hold on a minute. I don't know if y'all can see it, but there was a terrapin come racing across the path in front of her. Where's that? There it is. I don't know if you can see it moving now. Yeah. Look. part of the trail isn't bad, Rocky, but this is probably the steepest climb we've done on this trail so far, and it is steep. We stopped several times coming up through here to let our horses take a breather. It's been a pretty steep, steady climb. They say like there's somewhere on this trail it's like a 30% grade, so we're gonna stop here. Yeah. So once you get out of that really rocky place, it does flatten out. Well, okay, it's not flat, but it's not near as rocky and a little more smooth coming up in here. So, all right. Now this trail here could definitely use some cleaning out. Got a kind of a decent view off to your left there, but guess that's looking back east.
Honey, you're like a crack of dawn in the dead of spring, when the ground's thawing and the birds are singing. Your wild eyes, it's my heart ringing every time I look. And I don't care when I'm an old man, what I've got or where I am, as long as you're there holding my hand. Ain't much else, it means a damn. I love you like a good old dog. I love you like muscadine wine. I love you like a mud ball back in high school with all my buddies in the summertime. I'll always love you like a good old dog. Life ain't easy on a boy named Sue or a man busting his.
All right, so we did a little over 18 miles and 9.5 hours on that ride. That was a long trip for us. The next day, we took some time off and went to Luray Caverns. I highly recommend y'all head to Luray Caverns. It was really nice, and there's just a few of the things we really liked at Luray. So, you know, they had a cool little transportation museum and everything like that too. So it's a cool little break to take while you're up here. And we cooked us up some dinner and enjoyed a nice quiet evening back at camp.
Took off those
our search was for the truth, and the storms brewing now won't leave the land.
So this trail we're on today is the one that goes out right behind the camp, and they own like, I guess, 80 some acres here that they have trails on. Now you can get to the national forest from here, but so we'll see. I don't know if we're gonna hit the national forest or just ride their trails today. We're gonna probably take it kind of easy. It's a pretty little waterfall right up through there though. So
I ride no place, I lead no den. I'm going to Montana for to throw the hook and if they feed in the coulee, they water in the draw. Their tails are all matted, their backs are all raw. Ride around, little doggies, ride around real slow. For the fiery and the snuffy are raring to go.
let's go here just a minute.
Old Bill Jones had two daughters in the song. One went to Denver and the other went wrong. His wife was killed in a pool room fight. And he sings this song morning till night. Ride around, little doggies, ride around real slow. For the fiery and the snuffy are raring to go. As I was out walking one morning for the pleasure, I spied a young cowpuncher riding along. His hat was thrown back and his spurs were jingling, and as he approached he was singing this song. Whoopie-tie-I-O, get along little doggies, it's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-I-O, get along little doggies, you know that in Wyoming they'll be at home.
Okay, so these are the corrals they have set up. They have roofs on them and nice big corral panels. Like I said, they're good sized pens, really nice sized pens. They get a little bit muddy. We had a lot of rain last night, and so they did get a little bit muddy. These two down here on the end by the cabins, and then the nice thing is we are camped right there, and there's nobody between us and the horses, so we can keep an eye on them real well. But the other couple are kind of, I don't know, I don't think they're quite as nice as, I mean, that one looks like it really get muddy right back in there, and then they've got a big, that big stump in there. And again, this one really slopes far to the back and kind of rocky in there. And here again, this one, of course, I guess if they're sloping, they're not going to stay as muddy, but you know, there's some good sized tree stumps and stuff in there. And then there's this one here, so, which is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yes, they got 6 in here, and then there's like a dump station right there for the manure. So the bad thing about these corral panels is there's no water except for at your campsite. So you have to carry buckets of water down here for the horses. You know, it'd be nice if they'd put a water spigot somewhere down here so you wouldn't have to go quite so far to carry water. All right, so as you pull in, you'll come up here and park right here where the sign says office. And up here they got a roping dummy, they got cornhole, got ice, and you can get t-shirts and stuff here. And this is where they saddle up their rental horses or for the trail rides and that kind of thing. And so they keep a fire pit going over there usually and that sort of thing. And beyond that is the parking lot for the people coming just for a day ride on the rental horses. But anyway, like I said, several campgrounds right here. I guess most all the sites are pulled through and pretty nice. It's shady, very shady up in here. So anyway, it's like I said, very, very nice up in here. Got all of them have a picnic table and a fire pit. So anyhow, okay, so up here by the office and the pavilion or whatever, they got a little campfire here, and you can do other things, get ice and stuff here. But this is where the restroom is, and they're just pit toilets, so they don't smell bad. It's you know, just a pit toilet. Go in here, check the shower out. I don't know if anybody's in here or not. It's just a one shower stall, I believe. Yep, okay. Well, it's tiny, full of gnats. It is summer, but still gnats, mosquitoes. Concrete floor, shower head, and people left a bunch of stuff here. Anyway, well, I guess it beats showering in the back of a horse trailer. All right, y'all, so we finished up our trip at Fort Valley Ranch, and have to say it was a good trip. Even though it rained every day we were there, we got rained on, but we got able to get rides in, and I have to say that riding in the George Washington National Forest up on that end, we rode to Kennedy's Peak, and that was some of the roughest trails I've ever been on in my life, really rocky. So we would leave Fort Valley Ranch, and it's about a 3-mile trail ride to the trailhead of the Stevens Trail. And from there we rode up to the Massanutten Trail, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and then we were going to make a whole loop, and we were going up to Kennedy's Peak. Now Kennedy's Peak is rough as a cob. Well, Kennedy's Peak is not a horse trail, it's a hiking trail, and it wasn't too bad. It was rough for us. Like I said, we're not used to it. We ride at Uwharrie a lot, but this is some of the steepest and rockiest places we've ever ridden. But the trail, Kennedy Peak, really isn't a horse trail. It's more of a hiking trail. So we decided to turn around. It was getting a little bit tough on our horses. They're out of shape and all that. You know, they just weren't ready for quite that strenuous. You know, if you're used to mountain riding, probably won't have a problem. Then we were going to ride the Massanutten Trail around and make a loop. But as we left Kennedy's Peak, we went to the left and got down there a little ways, and the trail was just so rough. The rocks in the trail were big around as my head and just looked like there was no place to put a horse's foot down. So we decided to turn back around and head back the way we came, which turned that trip into probably a little over 18 miles and probably 9.5 hour long trip for us, and that's a long ride for us. But anyway, it was, you know, the views were pretty, and there's a lot of riding up there if you don't mind the rockiness. Now, as far as staying at Fort Valley Ranch, it was a nice place to stay. It was, like I said, pretty convenient to those trails. Fort Valley has about 85, 86 acres at their place, and they have trails right behind camp that zigzag and cut around through there. You can also go up to the National Forest behind Fort Valley. Only bad thing there is that those are OHV trails. Now, we did ride up there. It was during the week, so we rode up there and started to ride the trails, but there was too many overhanging limbs to make it fun. It just wasn't fun because you'd have to duck so many limbs and that kind of thing. So we decided to turn around and just ride the trails there in Fort Valley Ranch. And so, which was a nice day ride. It wasn't bad, you know, we enjoyed it. Then as far as the ranch itself goes, they're geared more towards rental horses. They got a campground. You can go there and camp, stay in some cabins, and they're really geared towards rental horses, and they have a nice string of rental horses, really healthy looking horses. And the people there, I cannot say enough about the people. They are super nice, super friendly and helpful. If you've never been on a horse before and you want to rent a horse while you're on vacation in Luray, these people would be the ones to see. They really take their time with people that's never been on horseback before, and I give them a big thumbs up for that one. As far as the facility stays, there were, I think, 6 paddocks that's partially covered. And the only bad thing about this is when it does rain, it turns into a mud hole. They can't control the weather, you know, and that's just the way life is up there. The other thing I didn't like was the fact there's no water at any of the corrals. So you have to haul water from your campsite to the corrals. I don't know what you do if you're renting a cabin and staying there with your horses. I don't know where you'd get water from. I didn't notice a dump station anywhere on their property. And I'll show a picture later, but if you don't have, you've got to make sure you have the big 30 or 50 amp hookup for the power box, because they don't have any 110 outlets there, but you do have power and water at your site. No sewer, just power and water. The shower stalls, you can see in the video, it is what it is. I felt like they could have been a little bit cleaner. And I was a little disappointed that all they offered was pit toilets. I mean, it's a nice campground. And like I said, all they had were pit toilets. And I felt like they could have used a good cleaning while we were there. I don't feel like they were clean the whole time we were there, and we were there for maybe 4 days. So that's kind of the downside. Now, one of the pluses is they have an honor system for firewood or ice. You just go to the office there at the stables and get your firewood or ice and just let them know, and they tack it to your bill, and you can settle up before you leave. And like I said, their string of rental ponies are some of the good-looking, some of the best-looking horses I've seen. They're a nice, healthy-looking herd. They really take care of them. And so when you go, when you pull up to the office, before you do anything, they're going to want to see your health papers and your Coggins papers, because they are very particular about keeping their herd of horses healthy, and I don't blame them one bit. So make sure you have your health papers and your Coggins. If you're coming from out of state, you'll need the health papers. In state, you just need your Coggins. But anyhow, like I said, they're very friendly, and can't beat the staff at Fort Valley Ranch. They're really nice. But would I recommend going here and riding? Jackie and I probably won't be back, but if you like some good hard riding and not afraid of the mountains and rocky ground, they got some nice trails up there in the George Washington National Forest. So anyhow, y'all just keep that in mind. And y'all remember, hit that like and subscribe button, leave us a comment, and y'all be good to one another, and y'all do something nice for somebody. This is Cowboy Greg from Single Oak Farm in Trinity, saying bye.